Hello YouTube, I am Phoenix Vigo, and this is World of Tanks. Today, I'm going to take a quick look around the World of Tanks game, show you what it's all about, and play a quick match. I don't know that there's a lot of demand for this particular video. The neat thing about World of Tanks is that it's a free-to-play game, so I think, if you wanted to know more about it, you could probably just download it and have a look at it yourself. But since I used World of Tanks in my first video, and I'm going to do a couple more Let's Plays of it, because it's just a nice game for YouTube videos, because the battles are fairly quick, and it keeps it nice and segmented, so I don't have to do a lot of editing afterwards. Since I'm going to use it for that, for kind of my first videos and my practice here, I thought I would just show you guys what it's all about. So the basic premise of the game is you have tanks, and you fight against other tanks, and while doing that you earn coins and experience points, which you use to upgrade your tank and buy bigger tanks, and then you end up fighting bigger tanks, and it's a vicious circle, massive time sink, and eventually you end up in giant tier 10 tanks, hopefully getting put in a game with puny tier 8 tanks and annihilating them. That's the idea. So I played this game back when it first came out. Before it first came out, when it was still in beta. That had to be probably, I don't know, more than 2 years ago. And it's a ton of fun. It's a great game to play. But I kind of put it down for a while, and just recently picked it back up. One of my friends was looking for a game to play, something free and fun, and I suggested this, so we've played a couple matches together and had a good time with that. So you can see down here along the bottom are the tanks that I have. I have a couple of American ones, a German one, and some Soviet tanks. So in this game, when you're playing a match, the tanks are not divided into separate Axis and Allied, or like Soviet and American setups. The matchmaker grabs based on the tier of the tank and the level, how much it's been upgraded and such. It grabs a group of tanks and puts people who are of generally comparable level together. That works fairly well. There's some, basically it works out. Some games you're going to get slaughtered because you get thrown in with some guys who are bigger than you, and other games you're going to own because you get in games with guys that are, much smaller than you. But generally it's all around the same level, so there's never going to be a total rout. Well, in the quick game, the random battle matchmaking anyway, you're not going to run into a situation where you're in your tier 1 tank and you get put into a game with tier 5 tanks that are just going to destroy you. With some caveats, when you're playing a platoon battle or a clan battle or something like that, of course you can make that situation happen. But generally, if you just leave it on random battle and hit battle, that's not going to happen. You're going to end up with guys who are around your same level, which is cool because it makes it, you have a fighting chance. Even if you're the small tank on the battlefield, you're only a tier or 2 different from the biggest tank on the battlefield. So there's the different tanks that I have, and you buy tanks using, here's the little buy tank screen. Every time you fight a battle, you get some coins up here, and you get some experience. So how it works out is you have this little tech tree, and you have to research the different items on the tech tree, and after you've researched enough of them, you get to a point where you can buy a bigger tank. So here's the T-28 tech tree, and I've already researched everything on there, so that's probably not the best example. Let's show this one. So on this tank, you can see I still have this T-50 light tank that I can research, and this 37mm cannon that I can research. So this would cost 4,800 experience points, of which for this particular tank I have 5,000. So yeah, I could research that right now, and then that would allow me to buy using the coins. Then a next tier up tank, and then I go through all the same thing again, research that until I can upgrade to the next one. So here's another example of this M3 Lee here. I haven't researched the biggest engine on it yet, and I still have a lot of like for whichever next tank I want to go to, I still have a lot of experience to go before I get to that. So yeah, you kind of pick your side and decide how you want to go. You always start with this tier 1 tank for one of the sides, and from there, if you following that tech tree I just showed you, you upgrade your tank following along the path, and eventually you get down to these big heavy tanks, these big tier 10 tanks, or if you go for the artillery or tank destroyers, you end up not quite at tier 10, but believe me, these tier 8 artillery do a lot of damage. So yeah, that's how that works. So let's show you a quick battle here. There's also, I guess I should show you, there's you can add things onto your tank. So you can see this tank has a camouflage net on it, which gives you, it makes you harder to see if you're stationary. You can add things on. They cost coins to add those. And then you can, like I have this camo net on this tank, and I don't have a camo net on this tank, so I could actually demount this from here and put it over on here if I wanted to use it on here. And then since I've already bought it, I don't have to pay anything. But some of the items do require gold to demount them so that you can remount them on somewhere else, some of the fancier things. So what's gold? Gold is up here. Gold is how the people who wrote and run World of Tanks make their money. That's it costs real money to get gold. So I don't know how the exchange breaks down, but for some amount of money, of real dollars, you get some amount of gold, which then you can spend in-game on things like you can demount your equipment with it, you can buy additional slots for holding your tanks down here. You can do like I've done and buy a premium account with it, which increases the rate at which you earn experience points. And then there's some like special tanks you can get. There are premium tanks that you can get. Where are those at? In the store here. I don't have it turned on. Yeah, so here we go. So you can buy, like there's a T2 light tank you can buy for 750 gold. And there's probably some bigger ones. Here's a heavy tank, a tier 5 heavy tank for 1500 gold. So yeah, you can spend your money on that. I've heard that the premium tanks are good for making the coins to spend on your other tanks, but you know, I haven't played that much, so there's still a lot for me to do. I don't need to be grinding on, money. There's still plenty for me to keep entertained with, new tanks to buy and stuff like that, so I haven't really needed to worry about that. I do have one premium tank, this M3 Stuart, which they give you for free after you finish all the tutorial missions. And you can see with that, there's no research tech tree for it. It's just, you can just use it to make money. Coins to upgrade your stuff. So this tank actually just before this finished researching everything, so I turned on accelerate crew training. So that means my little crew guys over here will go up faster, and they will become more effective as they go up, as their little percentage increases over here. And then once they get to 100%, we can buy if I have a crew that's like that. You can, where's that at? You can give him different skills that give them a little bonus for, sometimes it's a pretty big bonus, but they give them a bonus for when you're in the level killing things. So yeah, so let's try this out. Okay, let's see what I show you here. I showed you the equipment you can mount. There's also consumables, which are like, it's kind of like equipment, but it tends to be like one-time use stuff, and you activate it, and it gives you its little bonus, and then it's gone. You also you can load it with different ammunition. There's the armor-piercing ammunition, which is what I tend to use the most, which does, like for example on this particular gun, does 90 to 150 millimeter, as opposed to the high explosive ammunition, which only does 32 to 54 millimeter, so it has a lot less penetration, but you'll notice it does 210 to 350 damage, whereas the armor piercing only does 120 to 200. So you get a lot less penetration, but a lot more damage. So that's nice if you're familiar enough with the game, expert enough at the game, to recognize that the tank that you're about to shoot at, or that the tanks that you're going to be shooting at in general, have not very much armor. So for the tank that I'm piloting right now, this T-28, he has generally 20 armor. In most places he has 30 in the front. So this high explosive ammunition in his gun would pretty much tear him up. The thing is, I don't know all the tanks that well, so I tend to just stick with the armor piercing. That way, if whatever I'm shooting at least I'm going to penetrate the armor. If you don't penetrate the armor, it doesn't matter how much damage it's going to do, because it's not going to do any damage. So if it bounces off the armor, you don't get anything. So I tend to just stick with the armor piercing. I have the best chance at doing damage with that, and that's what I'm going for. There's also the composite ammunition. That costs actual gold, like real money to buy. So it's nice in that it does more penetration, so if you're going up against higher tier tanks, that's good, but not really worth it in my opinion, especially not in just random battles. I understand some people use them in the clan battles, so it's probably useful there, but for my purposes, not anything we need to worry about. So I think I showed you all the good stuff, so let's go ahead and do a random battle. Oh, we have different kind of battles as well. I'll show you that. Platoon is when you're playing with a friend. You can set it on platoon battle, invite your friend to the platoon, and then you do. It's like the same as a random battle, except you have your friend with you, and you're both on the same side in the same battle. And then these are for the team training, and the tank companies are more for clan battles. When you're fighting with your clan, you can get your 10 of your friends together and set your clan all up, and then when you all get online, you can fight against, hopefully there's another clan around with 10 people in a fairly even battle. I'm not sure how that all works out. I've just been doing the random battles and a couple of platoon battles with one of my buddies. Yeah, so we'll do a random battle, and we'll see how this will go for us.